Why does the LDS Church teach that men first existed as spirits in heaven when 1 Corinthians 15:46 says that the physical body comes before the spiritual?
Question 38. Why does the LDS Church teach that men first existed as spirits in heaven when 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 46 says that the physical body comes before the spiritual? Well, let's see. Reading that verse, it says, "Howbeit, that was not first which is spiritual, but that which is natural, and afterwards that which is spiritual." But in context of this chapter 15 of 1 Corinthians, Paul is talking about the resurrection. He is stating that the eternal, resurrected body has to come after the mortal body. He is not saying that the spirit comes before or comes after the mortal, but the spiritual, meaning the resurrected body. The idea of the spirit existence before this life is also clearly taught in the Bible. So let us go through a couple of these passages. We have a very famous one in the church, Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5. It states, "Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations." So Jeremiah, or God is telling Jeremiah here that he existed in some form for God to know him before he was born. We then read in, we got Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7. It says, "Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it." So at death, our body goes back to the earth where it came from, and our spirit goes back to God where it came from. It can't return if it was not there previously. We read in Job chapter 38, verses 4 through 7, "Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if thou hast understanding. Who hath laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest? Or who hath stretched the line upon it? Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened, and who laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy." Now, throughout the scriptures, the sons of God refer to us. He is called the Father of our spirits. We are the children of God. If we were there at the creation to shout for joy, in what form did we exist? He is the Father of our spirits. Clearly it was our spirits that were there, not our physical mortal bodies. Later on, going to the New Testament, Ephesians chapter 1, verse 4 says, "According as he hath chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love." So before the world was formed, certain people were chosen to be born into the house of Israel. How could they be chosen if they did not already exist? And finally, to show clearly that the apostles understood the doctrine of the spirit existence before this life, we read in John chapter 9, verse 2, "And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" Why would they ask if the man had sinned, causing him to be born blind, if they did not already understand that he had lived before he was born? All of this shows clearly that the Bible teaches that there was a pre-existent spirit state of all men, that we lived as spirits in heaven before being born into this world. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, speaking of the resurrection, says that before the resurrection we had to live in mortality because our mortal body is required to have a spiritual or resurrected body. It does not say that the spirit body did not exist before the mortal.